When I was 6 years old, I had an imaginary friend named Eli. He wasn't like the others my classmates made up. He wasn't a superhero or a talking animal. He was just Eli. A boy, maybe 10 or 11, always quiet, always watching. He had pale skin, sharp eyes too big for his face, and a constant crooked smile like he was in on a joke I'd never understand. Eli came to me when I was lonely, after my father left. He said he'd protect me. At night, he would sit on the edge of my bed and hum lullabies no one ever taught me. Sometimes he'd whisper things about people, things I didn't want to know. When my teacher fell down the stairs, I remembered Eli had said she shouldn't have been snooping around in the woods behind our school. When our dog ran away, Eli just said he knew too much. I told my mom once. She looked scared, not the amused kind of scared a parent gets when their kid has a vivid imagination. The real kind. She told me never to mention Eli again, not even to her, not even to myself. I obeyed, and not long after that, Eli disappeared. I forgot about him, or at least, I thought I did. Years passed. I moved out, grew up, got a job in the city. The past stayed behind, buried under concrete and noise. But sometimes, in dreams, I'd see that crooked smile again, peeking through cracks in the walls, hovering just out of reach. Then, last winter, I saw him, for real. It was in the corner of a crowded subway platform. A man stood perfectly still, unfazed by the rush of bodies around him. He wore a black coat, hands in his pockets, head tilted slightly, watching me. His face, it was Eli's. Not as I remembered him, but older, adult, like someone had aged the childhood version in a simulation. Same wide eyes, same pale skin, but leaner, taller, and the smile. That smile hadn't changed. I blinked. He was gone. After that, things got strange. My apartment started to feel colder. Not like the heat was broken, but like the warmth itself had been pushed out. I began waking up at 3:13 a.m. every night, no sound, no dreams, just awake, like something had tapped me from the inside. I found dirt on the floor despite never opening the windows. Long, thin scratches appeared on the walls near the corners, places I couldn't reach. Then one night, I woke up and saw him again, standing at the foot of my bed. Same black coat, same watching eyes. "Eli?" I asked before I could stop myself. He didn't answer. He just tilted his head like a curious animal. Then he said, in that same calm, unnervingly gentle voice, "You remembered." I turned on the light. He was gone. But the air still carried his presence, like a static charge before a storm. I started digging. I went through old journals, therapy notes, even called my mom. She denied ever hearing the name Eli, but I could hear the fear in her voice, like just saying the name pulled something closer. I went back to my childhood home, abandoned now, sold years ago, and left to rot. The forest behind it had overgrown, swallowing the paths I used to walk as a kid. But somehow, my feet knew the way. I found it, a clearing, a circle of dead trees, perfectly symmetrical. In the center, stones stacked like an altar. Beneath them, bones. Not animal bones, not human either. That night, Eli returned. I didn't sleep. I just waited. He didn't come from the door or the shadows. He stepped into the room like he'd always been there. I asked him what he was. Finally, he answered. "I was made to protect you," he said. "You needed something." I answered. "Who made you?" I whispered. He looked at me with a flicker of something. Pity, maybe. Or hunger. "You did." I remembered then, not the way memories usually come, soft and hazy. This hit like a lightning bolt through my spine. When I was 6, I did more than imagine Eli. I invited him. In a moment of desperation, I called out into the dark, not with words, but with grief, with pain. Something heard me. Something came. It wore a shape I'd accept. It lived in my shadow, and when I no longer needed it, it waited. until I did again. "You're not real," I said. His smile widened. "Neither are you. Not the way you think." Since that night, I haven't been alone. He walks behind me on quiet streets, appears in reflections that aren't mine. He whispers things about people I meet, about the things that lurk beneath ordinary lives. He tells me truths I wish I could forget. And worse, sometimes I need him again. Not everyone who dies in my life stays dead. Sometimes, when the grief gets too heavy, I feel him stir. I try to resist, but I've learned something. Whatever Eli is, he isn't bound by time or form. He was never just a friend. He was a tether, a pact, a shadow I cast so far back I didn't realize it was part of me. And now he's back. Not as a boy, not as a ghost, but as what I made him to be.